Dear Baku TV viewers, today on the special edition of the Officials program, we have our guest Mr. Saeed Abbas Mousavi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Azerbaijan. On this program, we will not only be discussing the topic of bilateral relations but also try to find answers to questions that everyone has on their minds.
Saeed Abbas Mousavi, Ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Azerbaijan, has worked in the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs since 1996. During his service, he served in various countries as a diplomat. In 2019 to 2020, he was the Deputy Foreign Minister, spokesman, and head of the ministry's Public Diplomacy and Media Center. Saeed Abbas Mousavi has been Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Azerbaijan since 2020.
Greetings, Mr. Ambassador. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to give us an interview. I hope that this conversation will be beneficial for Iranian-Azerbaijani relations.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, I am very pleased to be giving this interview to you and Baku TV, with whom we are in contact.
Azerbaijan and Iran have historical ties dating back centuries. Both countries were once part of large empires such as Safavids and Afsharids. How do you assess Azerbaijani-Iranian relations?
Given the long history of relations between Iran and Azerbaijan, there is a cultural, economic, and political bond between our countries. We are very good neighbors, living side by side for many years. In any case, Iran has a neighbor with whom it shares an 800 kilometers long border. On both sides of this border there are people who are related to each other. Our ties run very deep. It's connected with the past and history of both peoples, both countries. There have been quite a few misunderstandings between the two countries, created artificially. Despite this, thanks to the wise policy of both Azerbaijan and Iran, we have tried to overcome this obstacle. God willing, in the near future, we will open a new page in the relations between the two countries. We are both allies and friends. Our friendship and unity is not liked by some countries and forces far from the region. That is why they from time to time try to spoil our relations. Thank God that both in Azerbaijan and Iran we have decided to move forward despite violations and provocations.
Information has been circulating in the media about the establishment of a customs checkpoint in Jabrail, which had been liberated from occupation. What work is being done on this issue?
I remember, after liberation of Jabrail, President Ilham Aliyev and First Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva visited this territory and gave a beautiful message to the Iranian people. Mr. President pointed to the border with Iran and said this is the border of friendship. We too consider this place and our 800-kilometer border with Azerbaijan as the border of peace and friendship. Kudafrin Bridge is a historical and ancient bridge that connects us with Azerbaijan. We believe that the two countries should restore this bridge and register it in UNESCO as a symbol of friendship and common cultural heritage of Azerbaijan and Iran. Some countries build walls, but we build bridges. 2 to 3 months ago a new bridge was built between Azerbaijan and Iran in Astara. And God willing, thanks to it our economic, trade and transit ties will become stronger. Speaking about Kudafrin, I would like to touch upon one more topic. When Jabrail was under the occupation of Armenia, we did not consider it appropriate to raise the Iranian flag in front of Kudafrin Bridge. However, since the liberation of your territories, we have raised our flag next to the Azerbaijani flag.
At what stage is work on the alternative road to the Zangezur corridor in progress, and when will it be commissioned?
At the moment, the route connecting the main part of Azerbaijan with the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic passes through Iran. Even the air route goes through the territory of Iran. This has been going on for over 30 years, and we are proud to help our Azerbaijani brothers and sisters. Now we intend to expand this route. Preparations for the construction of a road and railway bridge between Iran and Azerbaijan in the Agben district have been completed. God willing, we will build the road and railway in order to strengthen our relations with Azerbaijan. We will continue to build bridges, literally and figuratively.
Recently, there have been, shall we say, quite a few misunderstandings between our countries, especially after Azerbaijan's victory in the 44-day patriotic war. What do you think was the reason?
As I have said before, as neighbors there should be close and friendly relations between our countries. But even among members of the same family there are disagreements. It's perfectly normal. It happens between neighboring countries as well. But the main thing is to overcome these arguments and minimize misunderstandings. Sometimes external forces are involved in the emerging contradictions, trying to sow discord between two brotherly Muslim countries. But we try to keep all issues under control. Unfortunately, we see that some media outlets are trying to stir up controversy. But we did not pay attention to this. We just sat down and held negotiations, and now we are on the way to resolving all the issues. I am happy about it. Traditionally, on Nowruz it's customary to get rid of the old and acquire new. God willing, this Nowruz we will put aside all our differences and open a new page in our relations.
Keçən ilin yanvar ayında Azərbaycanın Tehrandakı səfirliyinə silahlı hücum oldu.
In January last year, the Azerbaijani embassy in Tehran was attacked by an armed man. One employee was killed on the spot. Thanks to the heroism of another employee, heavy casualties were prevented. Is it really so easy to attack an embassy in Iran? After all, the video shows that the Iranian police who were in the area did not intervene in the situation. There have even been rumors that the Iranian Secret Service was behind the incident. What do you think about this?
Təşkil edilməsindən şübhələr yaratdı. Bəs bu barədə nə deyə bilərsiniz?
This is a very sad and painful event for all of us. When I heard this news, for a moment I imagined myself in the shoes of the Azerbaijani ambassador in Tehran and my colleagues in the embassy. The event was unexpected and shocking, and it was very hard to accept. Our policeman was caught in an unforeseen situation. No one thought that some criminal would attack a diplomatic mission for personal reasons and do such a thing. Immediately after the incident, we took up the matter. The relevant authorities detained the attacker, and our foreign minister, president, prosecutor general, and other officials contacted our Azerbaijani colleagues, expressing sympathy. They promised that all necessary measures would be taken to clarify the details of the criminal case. The perpetrator of the offense confessed at his arrest that he had attacked the embassy for personal reasons. He believed that the employees of the Azerbaijani embassy in Tehran had caused his separation from his wife. Unfortunately, driven by this ridiculous thought, he went to the embassy with a firearm. The reason for the police officer's inaction was simply because he was shocked by what had happened. Besides, unlike the embassy guards in Baku, ours do not carry weapons. We were sure that such incidents would not happen in the embassies of our country. The armed attack on the Azerbaijani embassy made us become more vigilant. The trial was concluded, and delegations from the prosecutors' offices of our countries made mutual visits. The representative of Azerbaijan spoke to the perpetrator in Tehran. The evidence was reviewed. In addition, a delegation consisting of employees of the Iranian Prosecutor General's office and law enforcement agencies met with the family of Shahid Orkanaskarov in Baku. About a month ago, the trial of the accused took place. According to the indictment, previously presented by the Prosecutor General of our country, the accused was sentenced to the most severe punishment in accordance with the law. The fate of the murderer is decided by the family of his victim. Procedural work is currently underway. I would also like to add that 6 Iranian police officers of various ranks have been questioned and dismissed in connection with the incident.
طبیعی بود که بایستی از اونها سوال میشد و اونها برکنار شد.
Judging by your reply, I understand that you already have enough information about the progress of the investigation. What we're interested in is who the attacker was, who ordered the attack, and why did this happen in general.
یعنی بازجویی‌هایی که ازش شده و همینطور ما بازجویی کردیم.
The perpetrator committed the attack for personal reasons. This has been known since the first day of his arrest, on the basis of interrogations conducted by both the Iranian and Azerbaijani sides. Therefore, based on the evidence and facts presented, I reiterate that there is a consensus between the relevant institutions of Iran and Azerbaijan that the offense was committed for personal motives.
There are about 40 million Azerbaijanis living in Iran, which is quite a big number. That is, Azerbaijanis in Iran cannot be called an ethnic minority. Despite this, There are no schools in Iran where Azerbaijanis could study in their native language. What is the reason for this?
ببینید من نمیخوام وارد این سوال بشم یعنی
I don't want to answer the question right now, because the answer to this question is rather complicated.
هم طولانی خواهد داشت هم قانع کننده خواهد داشت.
Ben istemiyorum bu meseleye münasebet bildiren ama size qeyd etmək üçün bu məsələnin cavabı
همه اقوام ایرانی ایران
The supreme leader of a country is an Azerbaijani who attaches great importance to the Azerbaijani language. In his speeches, he demands that our citizens speak Azerbaijani in those regions of Iran where Azerbaijanis live. As you said, Azerbaijanis are not an ethnic minority in our country. You can meet them wherever you are in Iran. From this point of view, the Azerbaijanis in Iran feel more Iranian.
در خانواده یعنی به نظر من ایرانی ترین قوم ایرانی آذربایجانی های ما هست.
Azərbaycan və İran bir-birinin ərazi bütövlüyünü
Azerbaijan and Iran have always supported each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty. However, during Azerbaijan's restoration of its territorial integrity, Iran's position was ambiguous, and during the Patriotic War, weapons were smuggled to Armenia through Iran. Why did Iran try to arm Armenia?
Azərbaycana qarşı silahlandırmağa çalışdı.
I will give an answer, but please publish my answer in full.
من رو شما منتشر
mən bu məsələləri cavablandırdım. Suallarımın xahişim budur ki, bunu tam versiyasından elə siz də yayınlayasınız.
ببینید جمهوری اسلامی ایران تو سیاست خارجی
Iran has certain principles when it comes to its foreign and neighborhood policy. These principles are not something we can change or violate. From the very beginning of the Azerbaijani-Armenian conflict, we have been on the side of justice. Iran has always been against the occupation and aggression, in favor of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of countries. If you look at the archives, you will see that the positions of our officials, especially the supreme leader of our country, who were on the side of the righteous and oppressed from the very beginning. The lands of Azerbaijan were occupied, your people were attacked, massacres were committed. There is a video recording of our supreme religious leader visiting Tabriz. He strongly condemned the killing of Muslims by Armenians. I think it would be very good if you could find this footage and publish it in an interview. Our policy remains unchanged from the very beginning. Today there have been attempts to prove otherwise, and that is unfortunate. At the same time, when the Second Karabakh War started, the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran demonstrated one of the strongest, clear, and transparent positions. Afterwards, Azerbaijani officials contacted me and expressed their gratitude. I remember it was the Feast of the Prophet's Descent. In his speech commemorating the occasion, our supreme leader also spoke about the Second Karabakh War and stated that all occupied territories of Azerbaijan must be liberated. Azerbaijan has a legitimate right to restore its territorial integrity, and Iran's position has always been so. Even during the First Karabakh War, the supreme leader issued a religious fatwa that Karabakh is the territory of Azerbaijan. Those who died for the freedom of Karabakh are considered shahids according to Sharia. This is a clear and transparent position. All government bodies are subordinated to the instructions and assignments of the supreme leader. Maybe you don't know, and I don't know now whether to tell you this or not, but during the war we had military cooperation with Azerbaijan. Perhaps this has already been said by Azerbaijani government officials. Even Mr. President, in one of his interviews, mentioned that during the war Azerbaijan received weapons from different countries. One of those countries was Iran. We do not hesitate to say that we are on the side of those whose lands are under occupation, and we will continue to demonstrate this position. Images were published of several empty Kamaz trucks driving, as usual, through the territory of the Russian military base in Armenia. At that time, there were rumors of arms deliveries. Our state informed the military, defense, security, and political leadership of Azerbaijan about this. It was then proposed to stop this process. These Kamaz trucks weren't able to get to Armenia. Despite this, we closed all supply routes by air and by land. The Kamaz trucks belonged to the Russians. They said that the vehicles belonged to their base in Armenia and asked to transport them across the border. Despite the fact that we have good relations with the Russians, we closed the borders at Azerbaijan's request. We did not authorize the transportation of any military equipment to the Russians' base. Besides, it's no secret that during the First Karabakh War Iranian armed forces shelled Armenian positions and fought against the Armenians. You can get this information from interviews of Azerbaijani officials. During the war, Iranian artillery hit Armenian positions, and we opened the borders for Azerbaijanis. About 450,000 people went to Iran. These are the facts proving that the Islamic Republic of Iran sided with the occupied country both in the First Karabakh War and in the Second Karabakh War. and that this position is maintained. I would also like to state that we sacrificed 11 to 12 shahids for Azerbaijan in the Karabakh War.
How did Iran defend a part of the Azerbaijan-Iran border during the Armenian occupation?
ما همیشه اون مناطق رو یک منطقه اشغالی می‌دیدیم.
We have always regarded this region as an occupied territory, which sooner or later should be returned to Azerbaijan. The territory between Azerbaijan and Iran, where the Kudafrin Dam is located, was under occupation at that time. There we signed an agreement with Azerbaijan to build the Kudafrin and Maiden Tower hydroelectric dams and reservoirs. For this purpose, we asked Armenians to retreat kilometers. We started the construction of the aforementioned dams in the occupied territory. This is a clear example that we recognize and support the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. I even heard that some Azerbaijani officials of that time did not hope for the liberation of your lands. They said that although we are now signing a treaty, these territories are under occupation and not in our hands. Our officials told them not to worry. Sooner or later these territories will be liberated and will return to Azerbaijan. Therefore, we considered this region as an occupied territory and expected Azerbaijan to regain its lands either through negotiations or war. I would especially like to stress that, God willing, the presidents of Azerbaijan and Iran, Mr. Ilham Aliyev and Mr. Raisi, will visit Kudafrin before the Nowruz holiday. I hope that the energy ministers of the two countries will meet soon for preparatory work. The inauguration ceremony of Kudafrin and Maiden Tower hydro systems and dams will be held at the border with the participation of the presidents of the two countries. This is an exclusive for your interview. We are working on the commissioning of a crossing point at the Araz Bridge, road, and a railway line at the Agben Bridge. Both Iran and Azerbaijan are oil and gas countries, but our economies hardly cooperate. For this reason, we should identify and implement major projects so that our economic ties become closer. Currently, according to official statistics, the trade turnover between the countries is about $700 million a year. Of course, we have ties in other areas of economy and trade. It would be more correct not to disclose information about them. The main areas of our economic relations are energy and logistics.
Thank you for the interview, Mr. Ambassador. I think that your answers will create a basis for the development of bilateral relations between our countries. Thank you very much.
منم از حضور شما تشکر میکنم. خیلی به نظر من مصاحبه خوبی بود بعد از مدت‌ها.
I would also like to thank you for the visit. I think that this was a very good interview. I can give you the good news. Thanks to the political will of our leaders, we will be able to overcome this difficult period in our relations and turn a new page.
با درایت رهبران دو کشور داره عبور میکنه و صفحه جدیدی از روابط بین دو کشور انشالله رقم خواهد خورد.
Thank you very much.